At the Eternal Bard, we want to show our solidarity with those who have been affected by the latest round of suppression on YouTube. We leave you with these words of wisdom from famous literary and historical figures. Of all tyrannies, a tyranny sincerely exercised for the good of its victims may be the most oppressive. It would be better to live under robber barons than under omnipotent moral busybodies. The robber baron's cruelty may sometimes sleep, his cupidity may at some point be satiated, but those who torment us for our own good will torment us without end. For they do so with the approval of their own conscience. C.S. Lewis. People will come to love their oppression, to adore the technologies that undo their capacities to think. Aldous Huxley. If liberty means anything at all, it means the right to tell people what they do not want to hear. George Orwell. Selfishness is not living your life as you wish to live it. Selfishness is wanting others to live their lives as you wish them to. Oscar Wilde. If all mankind minus one were of one opinion, and only one person were of the contrary opinion, mankind would be no more justified in silencing that one person, than he, if he had the power, would be justified in silencing mankind. John Stuart Mill. Give me the liberty to know, to utter, and to argue freely according to conscience, above all liberties. John Milton. I disapprove of what you say, but I will defend to the death your right to say it. Voltaire. If you can keep your wits about you while all others are losing theirs, and blaming you, the world will be yours and everything in it. What's more, you'll be a man, my son. Rudyard Kipling. Nothing in this world is harder than speaking the truth, nothing easier than flattery. Fyodor Dostoevsky. This is my doctrine. Give every other human being every right you claim for yourself. Robert G. Ingersoll. In this world of lies, truth is forced to fly like a scared white doe in the woodlands, and only by cunning glimpses will she reveal herself. Herman Melville. Disobedience is the true foundation of liberty. The obedient must be slaves. Henry David Thoreau. I would rather be exposed to the inconveniences attending too much liberty than to those attending too small a degree of it. Thomas Jefferson. The further a society drifts from truth, the more it will hate those who speak it. George Orwell. You wish to put me in the dark. I tell you that I will never be put in the dark. You wish to beat me. I tell you that you will never beat me. Arthur Conan Doyle. Is life so dear, or peace so sweet, as to be purchased at the price of chains and slavery? Forbid it, Almighty God. I know not what course others may take, but as for me, give me liberty or give me death. Patrick Henry. The true strength of rulers and empires lies not in armies or emotions, but in the belief of men that they are inflexibly open and truthful and legal. As soon as a government departs from that standard, it ceases to be anything more than a gang in possession, and its days are numbered. H. G. Wells. The price of freedom is eternal vigilance. John Philpott Curran. I am truly free only when all human beings, men and women, are equally free. The freedom of other men, far from negating or limiting my freedom, is, on the contrary, its necessary premise and confirmation. Mikhail Bakunin. Take away freedom of speech, and the creative faculties dry up. George Orwell. Whoever would overthrow the liberty of a nation must begin by subduing the freeness of speech. Benjamin Franklin. If the truth were to be known, everyone would be wearing a scarlet letter of one form or another. Nathaniel Hawthorne. To suppress free speech is a double wrong. It violates the rights of the hearer as well as those of the speaker. Frederick Douglass. I do not live for what the world thinks of me, but for what I think of myself. Jack London. Freethinkers are those who are willing to use their minds without prejudice and without fearing to understand things that clash with their own customs, privileges, or beliefs. This state of mind is not common, but it is essential for right thinking. Leo Tolstoy. The best way to keep a prisoner from escaping is to make sure he never knows he's in prison. Fyodor Dostoevsky. It is better to be unhappy and know the worst, than to be happy in a fool's paradise. Fyodor Dostoevsky. The individual has always had to struggle to keep from being overwhelmed by the tribe. If you try it, you will be lonely often, and sometimes frightened. But no price is too high to pay for the privilege of owning yourself. Rudyard Kipling. When the doctrine of allegiance to party can utterly upend a man's moral constitution and make a temporary fool of him besides, what excuse are you going to offer for preaching it, teaching it, extending it, perpetuating it? Shall you say, the best good of the country demands allegiance to party? Shall you also say it demands that a man kick his truth and his conscience into the gutter, and become a mouthing lunatic, besides? Mark Twain. As a matter of fact, we are none of us above criticism, so let us bear with each other's faults. L. Frank Baum. Some men, under the notion of weeding out prejudice, eradicate virtue, honesty and religion. Jonathan Swift. Those who expect to reap the blessings of freedom, must, like men, undergo the fatigues of supporting it. Thomas Paine. If the freedom of speech is taken away, then dumb and silent we may be led, like sheep to the slaughter. George Washington. If ye love wealth better than liberty, the tranquility of servitude better than the animating contest of freedom, go home from us in peace. We ask not your counsels or arms. Crouch down and lick the hands which feed you. May your chains set lightly upon you, and may posterity forget that ye were our countrymen. Samuel Adams. The American elite is almost beyond redemption. Moral relativism has set in so deeply that the gilded classes have become incapable of discerning right from wrong. Everything can be explained away, especially by journalists. Life is one great moral mush. Sophistry washed down with Chardonnay. The ordinary citizens, thank goodness, still adhere to absolutes. It is they who have saved the Republic from creeping degradation while their betters were derelict. Charles Dickens. The advancement and diffusion of knowledge is the only guardian of true liberty. James Madison.